fourth week in April of the year 2023. Today is the 23rd of April 2023, and I'm scouting a brand new area. At the very least, I'm going to scout a brand new area every year, and I'm going in fresh. I have an idea of a thicket higher up this mountain where I suspect there'll be some bedding, but along the way I started by walking the transition line between the open hardwoods and this thicket of briar, and integrated with some pines. This is the thickest cover, so if there's deer are going to move through here on public land, they're going to need a way to get through here that they're not seen. So that's exactly what this is. Right here is a buck rub from last year, and there are some old ones around here. There's also some fresh droppings of good decent size, and there's also older droppings. And specifically, what makes me take an interest in this spot is there's a wall of brush behind me down to the road, and it's hard to penetrate. A deer could if it had to, but probably won't. So this acts as a funnel, and then the other end of this pinch point is about 30 yards up the bank, where there's some more fallen down trees. And then there's a fallen down tree line that, boy, it was at least 50 yards past that 30-yard mark. So what this is a massive funnel, ideal for bow hunting. And all I know is that it's a trail along the side of this ridge, and towards the camera is northwest. So what I can feel the northwest wind right now, but earlier I could feel the thermals pulling up. So right here we have circulation of wind. Now I feel it coming from this direction. So it's a good place for deer to move through. I can feel the thermals coming up now. So all this is a point of interest. It has to connect with some other sign for me to actually hunt it, but it's a start. So it's the first find of today. So about 30 yards in front of me, in this thicket, right where I expected the deer to be bedding, is where they're bedding. I just kicked up a couple deer right here in front of me. So I'm going to go in, find their beds, find their exit and entrance trails, and find an ambush point to come back and hunt it with the mobile system. Standing right here where I am, I'm on the leeward side of the ridge. It's a little bit of a flat up here. It's not too steep. This is the kind of spot that they like to travel the edges of here. And right where that stump is kind of marks a nice little shelf kind of thing here. And they like to bed in these comfortable areas. It's easy to move in and out of these areas. The wind is blowing from me to the deer. They're catching the updrafts of the thermals, and then sometimes the wind will switch from the north and hit the northwest, because the predominant wind direction is where the deer ran. So they're protected by predators coming up like I just did. So I'll have to be careful with the wind direction here. Probably I'm gonna definitely want to be on the far side of this thicket, catch them coming in here, and look for funnels, any kind of a ambush point. So we'll see what this area produces. I made my way up to where I jumped these couple of doe and was rewarded with this vine. First of all, you can see these roots here. That root is exposed, probably because the does have been nibbling on them, and also because they've been laying down here. So this is a older bed, and we've got this very fresh bed with hairs right in it. You can see here, these are hairs of the underside of the deer. These are very fresh, and you can see where the deer lays right here. And boy, she's protected here. And you can see how she picked me up with scent coming up this mountain here. Great place for an adult doe to bed and be secure. So this is the absolute key to killing this deer. Pennsylvania gives out a lot more doe tags than buck tags. So in 2023, the doe are going to be in trouble. So another thing is, you can see on my phone that the distance between the projected bed and the real bed in actuality was 26 yards. That's how close I was by looking at the map online. I personally use HuntStand Pro. Found it to be very convenient to do what I need to be done. I am upwind about 40 or 50 yards up above that bedding thicket, where I just found a couple of doe beds where I jumped out the does, and I found the hairs and the fresh droppings, and I'm looking for an entrance trail into the bed. And sure enough, I found one of these little, this is actually, I do believe, a deer trail that's been established over the centuries. It's very narrow. At first I thought it might actually be a small logging road, but no, it's actually just established by the deer themselves, I do believe. There's tracks leading up here. It's obvious to me that this trail is being used now. I'm gonna look for an ambush point within 20 yards of this trail. They will absolutely use these trails going in and out of the bedding area, and either in the morning or the evening. So I'm gonna fine-tune my ambush point. But you see, this is browsed and licked. This branch, this little sapling here, and this one has been browsed so much that there's nothing growing on it because the deer hit it every time they come in and out of this bedding area. So this might be the spot that I need to target. It probably is, but I'm gonna walk up and down this trail a little bit to get an idea of how they're using this area. See, there's an older buck rub there, and there's plenty of signs of them tracking around here, digging up red oaks. I see red oaks mostly around here. So I'm following this bench trail that the deer are using, and sure enough, we got droppings there, fresh, shiny. So they have been using this, as I figured, to get into and out of this bedding area. So I will be setting up within 20 yards of this military crest that they're running. And the deer did this. They kicked up this stuff feeding. This is the browse saplings. I'm going to set up within 20 yards of this with the wind in my favor and hunt it in mobile fashion. Get in here and get out, and take my deer. That's how it's done. So I'm following this military crest. The deer are using it like crazy. And sure enough, I came upon this bare ground patch here. And I thought, is this the bed? It absolutely is. It's been worn to the dirt, and it is not being used right now. It is not. But it gets used extensively. And it could be a buck's bed. It could be a bed that they use in the rut. I'm not sure, but I found a lot of hairs down here on the ground. Here's some of them. Oh yeah, there's a bunch. There's some right here. Those little white things. Yeah, and there's some right here. There's more there. That's right in the center of the screen. This is an established bedding site. I'll mark it on my app and figure out a way to shoot into this bed too. So I'll just put it all together here and take my time, get everything figured out so that when I come back here, I'm going to be hunting during the archery season of 2023 here in Pennsylvania, hoping to tag a mature doe or a mature buck, either one. Alright, so this is the big buck bed that I've noticed. It's all by itself, and there was an adjacent sapling next to it, and it's broken. And here's the piece laying down here. Question is, yeah, I do believe this is a bed the way it's shaped. There's even a track in it. But so I can envision a buck laying here, hopefully during the fall, and walking down this military crest of an edge here. And first thing he does when he leaves this bed, based on the sign, is he hits the scrape right here, just about 20 yards away. This is well used. I'm gonna say that this is yeah, the most noteworthy scrape adjacent to his bed. And it does have the looking branches above. See how that's broken off and hanging down there? That's the looking branch. It's also broken off here. This is where they're leaving their sign. I'm absolutely going to be within range of this scrape and that bed when I'm hunting this buck. So the trick is to scout this area more, find an ambush point, and determine whether or not I can put up a trail camera in this area where I wouldn't be able to disturb him and the deer that are bedded up here. So the nearest location for a camera would be at least 100 yards away. But I'm more interested in finding an ambush spot for this bedding area and this scrape, so it's going to be a good spot. Alright, this may not look like much, but I found a secondary thicket that is farther up the mountain, and it's downwind of that original doe bedding area by about 200 yards, and it's got cedars, these small cedar saplings which provide year-round cover for bedding. I think that this is the preferred area for a buck to bed based on the sign. This may not look like much, but it is. This is a buck bed that gets used at a certain point. And I just found a hair right in the middle of the bed. I think I'll keep that for good luck. So this rub here was done obviously in 2022. It's fairly fresh, and there's a bunch of historical rubs or older rubs here too, including one hammer, which I'll show. So right here we've got the mother of all rubs right there. Now that's a big tree, about 6 inches in diameter, and it was aggressively rubbed from all different sides. So I think we found an entrance into a bedding area for a buck. So I'm gonna look for more beds and look at the trails they use in and out of here, and then find a way to set up for to hunt this buck. It would also be nice if I could figure out a way to set up a trail camera so I could get a picture of him before I hunt him, but it's certainly not necessary. So I'm right at the edge of this secondary thicket, which is these green saplings, these small evergreens that provides year-round cover for these deer to bed. We've got a hammer rub here. This buck likes to rub this big tree here. Good deep gouging marks with the brow tine. And this area is full of very old rubs too. So I'm simply going to find the beds in this area and study the wind direction, which is blowing from the camera towards me, and find an ambush point that I suspect they're using when they're coming in the morning and when they're leaving in the evening. Try to get some ambush points set up so that when I decide to hunt this buck, everything's set up so I can just hunt him and enjoy the success. Starting from this big hammer of a rub, my objective is to locate some more beds and establish this as a bedding area for a buck. And just 15 yards into this thicket, there's some old droppings there. And I thought, boy, doesn't that look like a nice place to bed right here. Thought all this was falling down this tree roots there, and it just looks like a great place to bed. I see a sapling coming down from an old rub there. Sure enough, if you look at the ground here, there's hair visible right there. Right on this, there's hair right in there. And this is a bed. Well, actually, there's quite a bit of hair here. Look at that, yeah. There's hair, lots of hair in this bed. This one might be used more often because it's more concealed, especially this time of year. We're not in the full greenery yet, but it's, this is gonna be a buck hideout. There could be just one buck living in here every year. I'll either see him within bow range behind the bow, or if I can figure out a way to get him on camera, I will. But I just noticed these fresh rubs right here. Look at that. You know, there's plenty of sign of these bucks. It's just, what caliber are they? So I will certainly have, there's another older rub there. Saplings oozing into alf there. So, see, the wind is coming this way right now. So yeah, he's got all this cover behind him, and he's well protected in here. This is definitely one of the safe areas. So I'll pinpoint a ambush location after I find some more beds and mark this spot and find a way to get in and out of here and hunt this deer. So I've been looking for a nice white oak feeding area, and I found one. This white oak feeding area is about 100 yards down the ridge from that cedar thicket bedding area that I got very excited about. And I followed 2 trails, and they both come down to a V to this spot here, and the deer simply come pretty much straight down, and then they follow this deer trail. It's a little shelf into this white oak feeding area that looks really good. And in addition to that, in this thicket behind me, there's a heavy scrape, and there's one black cherry tree, and it's a good sized tree. It's good size, so I'm thinking that early in the season, a buck would probably hit that cherry tree first, and once he fed there, he'd probably come right down through here into this white oak grove, which this is the first white oak in this area. It's a good sized tree, and there's a whole bunch in that direction. This has been broken by more likely a buck with his antlers. He just snapped it off. There was a little evidence of an old scrape here too. And then I found one farther down into the grove, about 60 or 70 yards down that way. So wind is northwest, and I'm feeling the thermals pulling mostly in this direction here. The bedding is there, so I'll be picking a tree behind this direction. I've got my tree picked out, and just hope the wind cooperates. It should. Between the northwest winds and the thermals, the wind seems to be going predominantly in this direction. So the deer that are bedded up there, like if that's 12 o'clock and I'll be around 3 o'clock here, hopefully I'll not get picked off.